Inside, many fresh guy. Let us have a look at the pictures as they organize where we are. That's the story here physically from the history. This is the original house. This is the original house, how it was. And if you see, the place was like a desert. There were no trees, there was nothing, and it is not, this picture, it actually shows you a representation of the whole of Kigezi. Today when you move and you see so many trees in Kigezi, just know that these trees were planted because people were taught to plant trees. But originally it was just grassland for grazing cows. So the whole of Kigezi was like this open bare ground. But you read here the story of how Dr. Sharp started planting trees with his wife, planting fruit, planting guavas, planting mangoes, and people started learning from that. This is when in the 1930s when they have started to plant some trees. So you can see the difference from this picture and from when they settled on the island. When they settled on the island, and also from here, you can see the background hills. All those hills, there were no trees. So planting trees is something which was taught to us. And it's not that we originally knew this thing. So this is in the 1950s. So which means now this tree is one of these trees 20 years later. So today if you plant a tree, you are going to be assured of a shade at your house 20 years later. But if you don't plant it, then nobody is going to produce a shade for you. These trees are not magic, you have to plant them. As part of our SDG campaigns, you know, climate change and environmental conservation is another topic which we would like to promote. Although this year we are concentrating on early child dropout, but environmental conservation. And this picture here shows you the true direction. You see in the 1920s, it's bare ground. In the 1930s, some trees have come out. And in the 1950s, people are chilling on a what? On a shade. So guys, when you go back home, just plant a tree. The administration of here and Guama and Bushara are all under the Church of Uganda, and we are going to see from the history here. As a child on Njuyera or Sharp Island, this is by Joy Goa, Dr. and Mrs. Sharp's daughter, and she wrote this in 2009, meaning this was written by the true daughter of Dr. Sharp, who also lived here. So she's telling us how life was when they were here. Our island home, for 2 periods of his life in Kigezi, my father, Dr. Leonard Sharp, was in charge of 2 hospitals at the same time. A general hospital at Kabale and Guamali Leprosy Hospital in Lake Bunyonyi. So those of you who normally go to enjoy services of Kabale Hospital, if it wasn't for these people, you wouldn't have that institution there. You should know that it's not the current government or the government which actually built these structures. In most parts of Africa, development was brought by well-wishers. And that's why I always tell you, for us as Shemerepa, we are coming as well-wishers to promote development. It's not a government project, and nothing should be a government project. You as a person, as an individual, you can come up with something, and in future, 100 years from today, people will be reading thinking about you because of the contribution you made. If Dr. Sharp was sent by government, right now they would be receiving benefits from what? From government. Right now, government would be helping to put a real historic museum here, for example. This place, I always tell people, this is the most important part in Bunyoni. If you cannot understand that, that is the reason why we are here. Bunyoni and the whole of Kabale civilization starts from where you are sitting. So, during these times, he would often spend half the week at Kabale and half at Guama or vice versa. This meant that my mother, my sister, and my brother, helpers, our dogs, and other pets were all going. It must have been a challenge for my mother to be constantly preparing everything that was needed for the change of homes, but she was always cheerful. It was at this time that my mother's landscaping and gardening talents developed. Both my parents were involved in planting trees, orange and lemon trees, bananas, peaches, plums, a mulberry, a fig, guavas, shrubs, climbers, flowers, fruits, and vegetables on the island to make it into a beautiful and attractive place, not only for themselves, but as a place of refreshment, enjoyment, and serenity for others. Over the years, Njuyera became famous throughout East Africa for its beauty. A small holiday cottage was built in the 19th century. Then you are not going to get any credit for the beauty of Uganda. You must show them it's the most beautiful part. Okay. The house, the island of his dreams appeared through a light opalescent haze. The house was there beautifully shaded as though it was a natural part of the island. The green lawns cropped very velvetly swept down the water's edge. It was like seeing a ghost. So faithfully did it tally with my dream picture. The guy, when he saw his dream, he said, that's why he settled here. That's why us Bachiga, we were able to benefit from his work. Otherwise, he would have continued along his journey and looked for another country. But because of the beauty of here, he said, let me settle here. Then as he was settling, he found the problem, leprosy. Then he concentrated and is one of the leading researchers who researched the vaccine of what? Of leprosy. Because for him, he had an isolation camp where he could do tests, where he could do research, where they could make trials of the vaccine. And in the end, today, I think ever since you are born, how many have ever seen a patient of leprosy? It is history. Why is it history? Because of these people. Because of the work they did and the research they did. So building and boats. Now this is where I want us to all come in. This affects us. As Africans, we have failed to build ourselves. Len built a boat house and a guest cottage, and he made a windmill at the southern end of the island to pump water to the house. He had a water pump, a windmill using wind. 1920. Today, people, they are still going to the lake to carry water on the head. Don't you see that we have a challenge? The main house was rebuilt twice. The last having 3 porches, I think that's the front porch, this porch, and then at the back of the other porch. The last having 3 porches, framed with white roses, and each gave views of the lake from the 3 sides of the house. Len also built a sailing and motorboats for use on the island, on Guama and for the family. When a flying boat was abandoned on the lake, it couldn't take off again due to its altitude. He used the floaters as hulls. So the other aeroplane which he brought in materials, somehow he was challenged taking it back. So it remained here. So he bought those things where the plane was floating, and those are the ones he used to build the other house boat. You see how the catamaran who have come in. By the way, this one is called what? Catamaran. Catamaran. Catamaran is 2. This one has 3. It has 3 hulls. So he got those hulls, just put timbers on top and built a house on top. You know, like what Jonas is doing. Why can't we do that, you guys? So I want us, I'm going to challenge myself. I will build a boat for Shemelekwa. Give it 10 years, give it 5 years, I'll build a boat for Shemelekwa. And next time we shall not have to hire. We shall use our own catamaran. It's a dream. So, not forgotten. By the mid-1950s, advances in medical treatment meant that the patient could return to the mainland to be treated in the local clinics. Leonard Esther Sharp left Njuyera, Sharp's Island, in 1961 to retire to Mombasa after some long decades of hard work. He went and retired from where? From Mombasa. They bequeathed the island to the Church of Uganda. So when they were leaving, they said, now this very beautiful place we have set up, let us live for the what? For the mission which we have been working for. And that was the church. So leprosy is now eradicated in Kigezi. But Dr. Len and Dr. Sharp, they are not forgotten. People like us, Shemelekwa, we shall always tell the truth. How many of Chiga know Dr. Sharp? For us, we call Dr. Sharp. We call him Dr. Magezi as Shemelekwa. Because the name Sharp, he must have been having what? A lot of Magezi. So let us encourage all of you to go and be Dr. Magezi in your own homes. In the small things, you don't have to have much. You don't have to first import things from Europe to build a boat. Use what you have. Get basins, get drums, do what? Whatever you can with whatever you have. Improvise. And that is innovation. So, for more things, you can go back. They forever stayed there. And those are the new residents of where? Grama. The communities of people whom you see there are all descendants of the leprosy patients. Yeah? So, we see how good and how wise and how hardworking these guys were to find in 1921. In 2020, when we got COVID, I think if they could have got like the first 100 patients and isolated them on an island, it would save us a lot. Yeah? So for me, when I read this, it shows me how bright these guys were at that time. Then let us read this. The island of his dreams. The Sharps set up a tent on the nearby deserted Abakara Island and built a house. They called it White Cottage in Nyabingi. After Len's parents' home on the Isle of Wight in England, the island almost devoid of vegetation where the Sharps arrived, but over the years, Esther created a spectacular garden. Lemon and guava trees fruited, canna lilies, flame lilies, and roses bloomed. A lawn swept all the way down from the house to a beach on the north end of the island. A tennis court was leveled using volcanic ash from the nearby volcanoes. When the writer Stephen Lister visited the 1950s, while researching his treatment involved painful weekly injections of hydrocannabis oil, which might have to be administered for years. Len was determined to set up an effective treatment and rehabilitation program. The deserted Brahma Island was an ideal location for him, and he was granted permission. He didn't go by himself. He was granted permission to use Brahma, Bushara, and Nyabingi Islands. With his team, he built villages, a hospital, a school, and a church, with all tall steeple on Brahma. Patients and their families were invited to come and live in the new village so that they could receive help and treatment.
The project was a success, and at its peak, about 47,000 injections were being given every year. By 1948, there were over 1,000 residents on Brahma. Brahma alone had 1,000 residents. The doctors who were working in Brahma were staying at Bushara. And then Dr. Sharp and his family were staying here. Yeah? So you can see how...
First, this was a home. But because it became beautiful, visitors now wanted to stay. So in 1950s, around that time, they started developing what? The cottages we are going to see outside. Apart from this, over the years, Nyabingi became famous throughout East Africa for its beauty, and a small holiday cottage was built in the 1950s for self-catering holidays or for honeymoon couples to stay. Apart from visitors who were invited to stay for a holiday, there were many day visitors who came across the lake to see the island for themselves. All of them, all were welcomed, and my mother recorded their names in a book which still exists up to today. You see preservation of history. School and adult groups also came on the outings, and all were fed and entertained with sports, with games, and with picnics. When my father brought children's groups to this island, his motorboat was decorated with flags for the occasion. So as you can see, they were welcoming people. Did you see anyone chasing you when you came? Very welcoming up to now. And that is how I believe all of us should be. To share what you have with others. She also writes on the trek to Chisoro. I think this was, they walked from me up to Chisoro. When I was about 6 years old, we were returning from a medical itinerary to Chisoro. We had our stay-no safaris from Kabale and traveled as far as the lake by car. When we met the rest of our party, including the medical orderlies and what. I don't know where that one continues. Okay, let us look at the history. Now, this is the most important part. For Amos, for my Rasta friends, for the people who are interested in Nyabingi history. This is important. Nyabingi Sharp Island, a history. Rebellion. During the First World War, rebellion was in the air around Lake Nyabingi. Some local chiefs with links to the powerful Nyabingi sect mounted raids along the shores of the lake. The Nyabingi practitioners performed their ceremonies on the islands of Brahma, Bushara, and Nyabingi. Then they were known as Hawakara. So even the name changed. The three islands were called Hawakara. And they were, as you see, they were areas of Nyabingi practitioners, and that they were like their homes. So when the drums sounded, canoes would cover it. When the drums sounded, canoes would converge on the islands, bringing gifts of goats, sheep, girls, and beer. The rebellion retreated to Brahma Island, commanding all the canoes on the lake. The police were helpless until another boat was formed on Lake Chahafi near the Rwanda border. That is, it was carried by a team of over 100 porters over the ranges of 2 high hills and through thick bamboo forest to reach Bunyonyi. The police launched the boat and paddled towards Brahma. Seeing themselves outgunned by the leaders of the rebellion, they fled, and the 3 islands were left deserted, with only a few scraggly trees remaining as a reminder of the rituals performed beneath their branches. So, who chased the people from the Nyabingi Islands? They even had to go to Chisoro to Lake Chahafi to get a boat, because I think that police at that time was local, maybe the colonial police and many Africans. Trying to chase these guys from their home. So the island of miracles. Dr. Leonard Sharp and Mrs. Esther Sharp took
Protestant missionaries arrived in southwestern Uganda in 1921, 3 years after the end of the war. You hear that? So it was not Dr. Sharp or the missionaries who chased the people. It was the colonial administrators who fought the Nyabingi rebellion at the present day. Who knows where the Nyabingi rebellion was fought from? It was where you see, what is that place called? Kagarama? No, now the agricultural, what is it called? Now, Kachwekano. It's called Kachwekano. You know the government land of Kachwekano for agriculture. That is where the Nyabingi rebellion was fought, and there over like 300 youths were killed. And that's how government acquired that land. That's how it became property of the colonialists. And we are seeing how the properties of the islands also became properties of the church. With the house, at first how it was, transporting a homemade caravan of the island, and then the outing in Easter, how later the boat was. One of his homemade boats. As you can see, this guy was always building boats, always. And he's a doctor. Why should the doctor be involved in building boats? Now for us here, I'm an engineer, I cannot do this. You have to try as much as possible to try and do everything. That's why for me, I am lucky. I was born an artist. At least I try to push myself. If you say, you come, we will draw this, I'll come and draw. Say, come, we build, I'll come and we build. You say, come and we make a plan, I'll come and we make a plan. Say, come and we teach, I will come and we teach. But we are not teachers. It's just what we like to do. So I hope this was interesting information. You can take more information from there, write about it, talk about it, and let us make the name of Dr. Sharp live longer. Yes? Because many people don't know. Many people from Kawai think the most important place in Bunyoni is Bunyoni Overland and Safaris. My friends, the most important place in Bunyoni is right here. The path of civilization. People learn to build permanent houses from here. People, as you can see, not only did he build his house, he went and built the churches. The first churches which were permanent were on the islands. And that's where the people of Garama copied to make bricks. Make bricks and mortar, the cow dung and mud mortar, and then you mix with the bricks and make a permanent house. Started from here. That doesn't involve cement, it doesn't involve anything, it just needs you to till the soil that you have. Yes? So, I think this is all for me. Let us continue our trip. Thank you very much.
Nyabingi order.
Yeah, we give thanks and praise to the Most High Jah every night, every day. We give thanks.
So how do you feel being in the Nyabingi Islands?
I feel so good and I feel so calm and I feel so blessed.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so the feeling I have, no one can understand it.
Nyabingi yakulinyire kare.
You can take some photos and you go back. There is the gun, the cannon gun. If you want to see the compounds, the trees, and then you go back to the ways of the gun.
First gun, you decide which side.
Hey, guys.